Happy Friday, May 8th, 2020. Another week in house arrest because of the Rona. That's okay. I'm a little bit punchy today. I'm in a bit of a mood. Just, I don't know why. I'm going stir crazy. These things are starting to get under my skin. Anyway, another car video. Just going out to get some Five Guys burgers and fries. Friday night. We like to do the fast food or takeout on Friday night. So that's what we're doing. Hey, they're doing the roads. It's about time. Burlington has the best roads. They're terrible. And it looks like with everybody locked in their houses, the city's taking advantage of reduced traffic, and they're doing some repaving, some much needed repaving. Anyway, I just wanted to talk quickly about the latest news with regards to the Canadian gun ban, which was announced, I think, on May 1st, if I'm not mistaken. So a few things. The list of firearms that are now affected by this new ban have come out, and there's some concerns over a couple of things that have appeared on the list. For one, there's an airsoft rifle on the list. An airsoft rifle. Can you believe it? Also, there's some concern because I guess an amendment to the list included rifles with a bore diameter of 20 millimeters or more and a bore or muzzle velocity, I think it said, of more than 10,000 joules. So people are saying that's 12 gauge shotguns. Now I don't know if that's true. I did some searching because I've been in the market for a shotgun. Most shotguns, 10 or 12 gauge, are going to be of a diameter less than, with a bore diameter of less than 20 millimeters. Typically they come in about 18 and a half, but I guess there's one out there at least that's like an ancient hunting shotgun. It was like made back in the early 1900s, and that's got a bore diameter of larger, or exactly 20 millimeters. So that would technically be affected by this ban. Anyway, the CSSA, CCFR, they've been speaking quite vocally about it, and good on them. And speaking of the CCFR, they have announced that they are launching a lawsuit against the gun ban. The two prongs of the lawsuit are that it's arbitrary and doesn't address what it is meant to address, and so I believe it's gonna get some legs. May even go to the Canadian Supreme Court. And the second prong, I believe it had to do with the way in which it was enacted under what do they call it? Order in council. So order in council is basically when the governing party can basically take actions without going through Parliament. Now, if you go and look at the Council in Order, I don't know how it's spoken about or how you actually say it. Order in council, sorry. Now, if you go and look at it, at the list of order in council decrees, most of the time they are, as a matter of fact, the vast majority of them are for like recess appointments. They're appointing people to do ministries, or the heads of ministries, or the heads of certain bodies within the federal government, and that doesn't require the Parliament to approve or weigh in on it. So the fact that they're doing this, it sets a precedent. I guess there have been a few ordering councils before that were regulatory in nature, but again, most of the time, ordering council, it's for recess appointments. That's what it's used for. So this is kind of egregious. There's documents come out where Bill Blair essentially said, yeah, we got to act on this now because there's no real way that we can get something like this passed, given the current makeup of the House, because they don't have a majority, right? So they're going to take advantage of the crisis, and they're going to put into place this edict And the RCMP went right on board because, I mean, they can't do anything about it. They're not the ones to determine whether or not, you know, a new law was arrived at constitutionally or properly. They're just there to enforce the law. So I don't really hold the RCMP to any blame to this, but it's up on their website like immediately right after they announced it. But I'm glad that the CCFR is launching this lawsuit. I'm going to donate to the CCFR. I'm currently a member of the CSSA. That's a Canadian Shooting Sports Association. The CCFR being the Canadian Coalition for Firearm Rights. So Rod Giltaca made a video the other day where he announced he's going to do he's starting a lawsuit. And he's hoping to get these other advocacy groups on board with regards to this lawsuit. And like I said, I'm a member of the CSSA, not a member of the CCFR, but I think I'll join. One of the good things about the CCFR is you get $5 million of liability insurance coverage if you're involved in a situation whereby law enforcement or the courts deem you unlawful in your storage or in some incident or what have you. So basically the liability, I think it's legal fees specifically. Check out their website to confirm all those details. But yeah, I mean, it's a worthwhile investment because you never know. Some cop could do something, say something, you could say something, you could mishandle something at the range, you know, slip of the finger and accidental discharge that causes damage. Well, this is what that fund is for, right? In any event, another fun thing I saw. So apparently on the list there was an item on the government's list. It was Black Rifle Company, BRC15B was the SKU or the model number or what have you. Anyway, so the Black Rifle Coffee Company came out and said to them, hey, are you saying that, you know, people can't have our coffee? Because they're called the Black Rifle Coffee Company. I didn't look too deeply into it. It may have just been, you know, tongue-in-cheek because the name matches, but I would not be surprised at the, you know, at the lack of oversight if they included a SKU that actually belonged to a coffee company and not an actual gun company. But if you want to look into that more, you can look into it. Black Rifle Coffee Company Canada, their Twitter account tweeted a picture of that particular line. I think it's item 117, if I recall correctly, in the list of prohibited firearms. And they said, hey, are you saying we can't get coffee in Canada, or you don't want our coffee in Canada? Anyway, it was a funny tweet, but the veracity of that particular thing, I don't know. And if you haven't seen it yet, I may have talked about it in the last Ammunition live stream, but Viva Fry, sorry, Montreal lawyer turned YouTuber is how he begins all his videos. He did a recent video on the Canadian gun ban and his thoughts on it, and his thoughts on the legality of it and how it was arrived at. It's worth watching. I would advise you all to check it out. Now, with regards to this channel, a couple of things I wanted to ask you all. First, I may be doing an Ammunition live stream this weekend with Irving Twin. We haven't talked about it yet, but I may just you know, reach out to him and say, hey, I want to do another one. I'm going to try and make it look a little prettier on my end. I won't be playing a game. It'll just be him and I chatting, but the hope is I can share, you know, I can have a split screen and we can have two talking heads there talking about it. And maybe if somehow I can incorporate, you know, the video, the visual run of the chat into the video, that would be good too. But we'll see, because we tend to get a lot of interactions on the chat, even though we only get live, you know, somewhere between a dozen and 20, you know, viewers. But that may happen this weekend. I'll do an announcement if there is one. Second thing I wanted to bring up was I'm thinking of doing a separate channel where I do game videos and I'm not talking gameplay like video game. That you know, media market is saturated at this point, and nobody wants to watch me fumble through games poorly and get upset. So it would be more like role-playing games, board games, that kind of stuff. And if that's something that you think might be interesting, let me know. I may set up a second channel where I devote my time to that. And I can't promise that politics won't sort of seep into that chat too, or that channel as well. But for the most part, it's going to be dedicated to playing role-playing games via Skype or Roll20 or whatever with people online, or board games online, that kind of stuff. And that's my thought that I might do if there is interest in it. I know I don't have a lot of subscribers, but if I get some comments in the affirmative that they think they'd like to see that, yeah, it's probably something I'll launch very shortly. And if it is something I launch very shortly, I'll need a name for the channel. I could just call it Crag Brag Gaming, or Craig Bragg Gaming, but something a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more inspired, a little bit more creative is in order, I think. But let me know. I hope you guys enjoy these videos. Again, if you do, like, share, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And if you are a gun owner, or even if you're not a gun owner and you just side with the debate, with me on the debate and others, give to the CSSA, give to the CCFR, and any other Canadian gun advocacy groups you can, because yeah, we're under assault here by the federal government. And my hope is that it doesn't pass the Supreme Court, that it'll get struck down for the way in which it was enacted and the arbitrary nature in which they came up with this list, especially when you consider that airsoft rifles and early 20th, late 19th century shotguns that have probably aren't even many in existence anymore are included on that list. But anyway, that's about all today. I gotta go get some burgers and fries. You guys have yourself a great weekend, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.